get started, I will be using 1 cup of roasted fresh pumpkin, or you could use canned pumpkin, but this is how I made mine. The type of pumpkin you would need to use are pie pumpkins, or sometimes called sugar pumpkins. I gave them a good rinse, dried them off, and now I am just going to have them scoop out the middle and roast them. And if you don't have pie pumpkins or sugar pumpkins, you could also use butternut squash. It works just as well. Now that my pumpkins are roasted, I am just going to scrape out the flesh. And of course, I did 2 pumpkins. You don't need to do that much. With 1 pumpkin, you'll get enough for this recipe, but I actually made some pumpkin pies with the rest of the pumpkin. Okay, so that is how I roasted my pumpkins. Now, because I want to ensure that my cotton cheesecake is nice, fluffy, and silky, I am going to run this pumpkin through a sieve. This is a fine mesh sieve, and I'm just going to push it through to get rid of any lumps and stringy bits. Okay, so now my roasted pumpkin is nice and smooth and pretty much like a puree. Now at this point, I am going to try and remove as much moisture as possible from this pumpkin. And if you skip this part, it might affect the texture or the overall outcome of your cotton cheesecake. And I want to show you how much moisture is in a cup of this roasted pumpkin. It is a lot. So it is important that you do this. Okay, next I'm going to start creaming together my ingredients. Here I have 1 8-ounce block of softened Philadelphia cream cheese. And I stress to you that you want to make sure that it is at room temperature and softened. This will make it a lot easier to cream together with the other ingredients. Now I'm going to add 2/3 cup of sugar. Next, I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of softened unsalted butter. Again, this is at room temperature and softened. I'm also going to be adding 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now with a whisk, and you could also use an electric beater if you have it, but a whisk works just as well, I'm going to mix and combine everything until it is creamed together. Next, I am also going to be adding 6 room temperature egg yolks. Now I am going to add my 1 cup of pumpkin puree. I am also going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. This is going to help with the spiced element of this spiced pumpkin cotton cheesecake. I'm also going to be adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And now I'm just going to continue to whisk and cream the ingredients together. Next, I'm going to add 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and you can use a little bit more if you like, but 1/8 of a teaspoon is fine for me. I'm also going to be adding 1/3 cup of heavy whipping cream. In the past, when I used this in other recipes, I've had comments and questions about what exactly heavy whipping cream is. The best way to describe it is a full fat cream. Okay, so now that I have creamed together all of my wet ingredients, I am now going to move on to the dry ingredients. I am adding 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour, and I'm also going to be adding 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. Next, I am just going to sieve all of my flour and cornstarch together into the batter. And I'd also like to mention that all of the ingredients and measurements will be located in the description box below. Okay, so now that that is all mixed and whisked, I am now going to beat 6 chilled egg whites. And you want to make sure you leave them in the fridge to chill before beating them. That will help create stiff peaks when you're done. So what I'm doing is just beating them until soft peak stage. And once you achieve soft peaks, you want to add 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. The cream of tartar will act as a stabilizer for your egg whites. This will most definitely ensure that you end up with a nice fluffy cotton cheesecake. Okay, so I am done beating my egg whites. They are now forming stiff peaks. So next, what I will be doing is folding this into the batter in thirds. And you want to add 1/3 of the egg whites and gently fold it because you don't want to lose any airiness from the egg whites and the batter. And again, because we're trying to make this a fluffy cheesecake, you want to make sure that you try to maintain as much air in the batter as possible. Okay, so now that my egg whites are combined into the batter, I am now going to pour it in a greased and lined with parchment paper 8 by 3 inch round cake pan. Okay, so now I'm going to give it 3 to 4 taps to release any air bubbles. And then I am going to place my cake pan into a water bath. Here I have a 9 by 13 baking dish. I'm going to place a paper towel at the bottom. This will help keep my cake pan in place. And now I am going to pour around 4 to 4.5 cups of boiling hot water. I will be baking this in a preheated oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for 1 hour and 10 minutes. It has been 1 hour and 10 minutes and my cotton cheesecake is done. And my house smells wonderful. The nutmeg and cinnamon just is so aromatic. It smells like fall already. I'm going to drop my cheesecake on the counter. And now I'm going to trim off the excess parchment paper to help me flip out my cotton cheesecake from the pan a bit easier. And if you want, you can let it set for around 10 minutes. That's what I did before flipping it out because it is hot. Okay, so success. I flipped it out successfully onto my platter, and as you can see, it is a beautiful golden brown color, and it is jiggly, which is one characteristic of a fluffy cotton cheesecake. I'm going to serve myself a slice, and I'm going to have a bite. The texture of this cotton cheesecake is just so silky, fluffy, and melt in your mouth. I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching. Hey guys, click the video icons for more recipes. Or you can click my picture icon to subscribe. Thanks for watching.